ready for Game 4. The Canes are on the road again, but fans will still pack Lenovo Center. We've got everything you need to know ahead of tonight's sold-out watch party.
A cooler day today with less humidity, but it changes later this week. I'm tracking when the near-record highs are back.
Trial update. Today, a hearing to decide whether future motions in the case of Faith Hedgepeth's murder will be sealed. Why prosecutors are asking the judge to grant this request.
And the man charged with killing UNC student Faith Hedgepeth is due back in court this afternoon. Lawyers for Miguel Salguero Olivares will argue against prosecutors' request to seal future motions in the case. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Chris Lemon. A lot to get to regarding that case. In fact, we have WRAL's Flynn Snyder. He is live outside the Durham County Courthouse. Flynn, the judge's decision, it will affect how much of this case plays out in public before it goes to trial.
And Chris, those arguments are expected to take place here at the Durham County Courthouse at 2:30 this afternoon. Prosecutors argue pretrial motions should be sealed to prevent tainting a jury. They say some previous defense filings are false or inadmissible, and extensive media coverage of the case could put that info in the public eye. Meanwhile, lawyers for Miguel Salguero Olivares push back, saying all pretrial motions should remain unsealed. They argue he has a right to have case proceedings, including pretrial motions, open to the public. Salguero Olivares is charged in the 2012 death of UNC student Faith Hedgepeth. His trial is set for September 28th. Now, leading up to that date, pretrial motions have revealed how the trial may play out, including key evidence and witnesses. Salguero Olivares' lawyers say they do plan to file more pretrial motions before a June 15th deadline. Again, today's hearing is expected to start at 2:30 this afternoon. Flynn Snyder, WRAL News, live in Durham.
Oh, it is a comfortable afternoon with a small chance of rain, emphasis on the small. Let's go to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth, you've been kind of tracking exactly when we are going to see near record heat back in the forecast.
That's right. And that's not going to happen until Thursday and Friday. But of course, Thursday, a very significant day, as that is Game 5. And there'll be a lot of people out and about for festivities and watch parties and tailgating and all of that. Our next weather maker is going to be this rain here, a little bit of thunder and lightning here in upstate South Carolina. That's gradually shifting eastward. Our big weather maker for today was a high pressure system sitting to our north and east, and that helped to push some drier, cooler air in. So it feels comfortable now. That high is on its way out, and we're going to see this line of thunderstorms moving eastward. Most of that fizzles out before it gets here, but not all of it. We take a look here starting at lunchtime. We're still seeing mostly cloudy skies for the bulk of the day today. A couple of isolated showers start to pop up right around the evening commute. Here's 7 o'clock, Fayetteville, Southern Pines, and Clinton. But right about the time we get to 9 or 10 and it moves into the triangle, it fizzles out. So again, not a lot of rain out of this. It's mostly going to be our Sandhills counties, sometime between 6 and maybe 8 and 9 p.m. And that will be all we see out of that chance for rain. We look across downtown Raleigh. You can see a lot of cloud cover right now. Our dew point sitting at 60. That's lower than yesterday, but we have climbed out of the 50s. 78 is our current temperature right now in the triangle. It's 80 in Fayetteville, 75 in Roxborough, 77 in Goldsboro. As we get through the afternoon, our high temperature will be 88 degrees. I know there'll be a lot of people heading out for tailgating and watch parties this evening. Temperatures will drop nicely around 8 o'clock at game time to 84, and we're not looking at a terribly humid day for it today. Now, we change things up as we get farther down the line. Thursday, Friday, even Wednesday brings a better chance for storms. Thursday, we have a small chance of severe weather and some intense heat coming our way. We'll map out Thursday for you coming up.
All right, sounds good, Elizabeth. Well, we are counting down to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes look to tie the series against the Golden Knights in Vegas.
WRAL's Ali Calabar explains where Caniacs can cheer on the Canes tonight.
Even though the Canes are more than 2,000 miles away, we're still going to see a lot of this and a lot of people pack Lenovo Center. They're not going to be looking so much at the ice. They're going to be looking at that video board, cheering loudly, hoping that the Canes can hear them all the way in Vegas. Lenovo Center is sold out for the watch party inside tonight, and they are making sure Caniacs still get that game day experience. There's going to be lights, displays, and of course, rally towels. We're also expecting expecting to see some tailgating out in the parking lots. Some lots even open 3 hours before the game starts. And if the Canes win tonight, they're going to tie up the series before coming home to play at Lenovo Center for Game 5 Thursday. Now, for Thursday, there's going to be watch parties again outside Lenovo Center and at Red Hat Amphitheater in downtown Raleigh. That's for Game 5. As for tonight, puck drops at 8 o'clock. Reporting at Lenovo Center, Allie Cadlebar, WRAL News. Go Canes!
You can count on WRAL for live team coverage all the way from Vegas to here at home. Our sports team will bring us highlights and reaction from Sin City, and we'll take you inside electric watch parties in the Triangle. Stay connected to the action on air and online.
And just a reminder, you can go to the WRAL YouTube channel for all things Canes. Just look for the Carolina Hurricanes 2026 playoff run playlist.
The SBI released photos overnight of Michael Miles and LaShawn Knott after their arrest in Asheville. We are still trying to find out when they will appear in court. Here's Kelsey Coffey.
Right now, those escaped inmates are back in custody. The special response team here inside the State Bureau of Investigation was working around the clock to locate these men. These are Michael Miles and LaShawn Knott's mugshots from the Buncombe County Jail. They're now facing felony charges for escaping jail. This photo shows Miles and Knott in handcuffs after the special response team arrested them just after midnight at a home in Asheville, more than 200 miles away from where they escaped. The two had been on the run since they broke out of the Vance County Jail last week. Officials say tracking down these men was a joint investigation between the Vance County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and the SBI. Both men were in jail on drug trafficking and gun charges. Officials are still investigating what happened before, during, and after their escape. Their first court appearance is scheduled for tomorrow. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
I'm Laura Levine here in the WRAL Live Center with an update on that shooting that happened on Hoover Road in Durham. Durham police now saying a 14-year-old is now in custody in connection to the shooting. Sky 5 flew over that apartment complex where this all happened around 2:30 yesterday. Durham police also say that the victim, identified as 34-year-old Gary Tharrington Jr., was shot multiple times and he died from his injuries. Again, this all in connection to the shooting that happened here yesterday. Now, because the suspect is a juvenile, no additional information will be shared from Durham police, they say, but they did say that they identified this suspect hours after the shooting, and it was all thanks to the community who shared information about this person that led to them being into custody.
Well, a new report released today says that North Carolina's teacher colleges are being prepared better in terms of preparing teachers for reading education. Now, it's all part of an effort to get the state in line with research on how people learn to read. WRAL Education Insider Emily Walkenhorst is here to talk a little bit more about why this is such a big deal for kids, Emily.
Yeah, Chris, in short, it's a very big deal. If you want to teach students to read proficiently, you start with making sure the teachers know how best to do that. For a long time, teachers, not just in North Carolina, but across the country, were teaching kids to read using all kinds of methods that just weren't proven to work. That includes something parents might be familiar with called 3Qing. Basically, that's using context clues to figure out what an unfamiliar word is. But that leads to wrong answers and kids just not learning to figure out each letter and sound. So a few years ago, the National Council on Teacher Quality found North Carolina's teacher colleges weren't aligned with the science. But today, the National Council found the state is pretty much in line. 27 out of 29 programs, they're focused on 5 main things now, including phonics and reading comprehension. It's one of many steps the state is taking to try and reverse more than a decade of decline in reading scores. And they're hoping those scores will turn around in the next few years. Emily Walkenhorst, WRAL News.
Emily, thanks for that. Now, should North Carolina block counties from applying new appraisals to property taxes this year? That's what Republican legislative leaders want. Lawmakers will discuss the proposal in about 2 hours. State Republicans want to stop any county with a reappraisal planned in 2026 from using those new numbers to determine how much people owe in property taxes. Here in our region, Harnett County would be affected under the current version of the bill, but the proposal could still change as it moves through the legislature.
This bill to freeze property revaluations is part of a broader effort that Republican state lawmakers are undertaking this year focused on affordability, whether it's for housing or other issues. We've already seen them put 2 constitutional amendments on the ballot this November.
Check out the NC Capitol section of WRAL.com for more on what this bill could mean for homeowners.
Well, the U.S. military is investigating why an Army helicopter went down near the coast of Oman. 2 crew members were rescued by an unmanned boat, which was a first for the U.S. military. U.S. Central Command says the Apache combat helicopter was lost at sea while on patrol off the coast of Oman. A search and rescue operation was launched, and then within 2 hours, the team members were recovered. And both right now are in the process of trying to get better after this situation.
We are learning the names of the 4-person crew who will take part in the Artemis 3 mission. NASA administrators are making the announcement at Johnson Space Center in Houston. The crew will travel to Earth's orbit next year to test one or both commercial human lunar landers. And they are making the announcement right now. We are waiting to see if Duke grad Anna Menon will be part of that team. Artemis missions are focused on expanding knowledge of and establishing a long-term human presence on and around the lunar surface.
Well, next at noon, accused murderer's money matter. What Nick Reiner, accused of killing his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, is asking from a judge.
Black bear captured. How the hunt for this animal that was terrorizing people finally came to an end.
And regulating social media for teenagers. A live report on the work happening today on a bill to make this a reality. That and more coming up this noon hour on WRAL News.
Coming up next, sea storms moving in with WRAL's exclusive Dual Doppler 5000. Sponsored by the WRAL Weather app. Download now for live radar.
Cloudy, overcast skies all the way to the coast, as well as we look live at Beaufort, and we will see mostly cloudy skies as well today. We will not hit 90 degrees. You're looking live and watching WRAL News, available on YouTube TV and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. Back to the news. Nick Reiner, who is charged with killing his parents, Rob and Michelle, wants a judge to release money from a trust fund established in his name. Lawyers for Nick Reiner accuse the fund's trustee of withholding the money over concerns about Nick's ability to manage it. Hollywood director Rob Reiner and his wife, photographer Michelle Singer Reiner, set up a $1.5 million trust fund. The couple was stabbed to death in their home back on December 14th. Nick Reiner was arrested hours later and has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder. Sheriff's deputies in Pima County, Arizona, are cracking down on unlawful behavior from people visiting the neighborhood where Nancy Guthrie lived. Investigators believe she was taken from her home on January 31st. The sheriff says several YouTubers have now been arrested. The crackdown comes after 911 calls from residents concerning egregious behavior. He says his office has asked people to respect those who live in the neighborhood through education and with warnings. But when those didn't work, deputies began issuing citations. At least 3 people have been arrested.
Good luck with that.
Happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, DeCarlos Brown, the man who has been charged with killing Irina Zarutska on the Charlotte light rail stabbing that happened last August, has been found incompetent to stand trial. You may remember about 4 weeks ago, we reported through court documents that this would be the next steps. But today was the first official hearing on the matter. And during the hearing, Brown interrupted proceedings multiple times with outbursts, causing the judge to warn him to be quiet. And the judge ruled that Brown doesn't understand the proceedings against him or assist in his defense, but doctors believe his capacity can be restored. The judge ordered that he be hospitalized for treatment and medication for up to 4 months, and then after that, another hearing will determine whether he's competent to proceed in the case. We did also get a statement from the Irina Zarutska's family. They say that this was not unexpected. We have confidence that his capacity will be restored so he can stand trial for what he did to Irina.
Such a huge case, even sparking a change in state law. All right, thank you for that update, Laura. A federal judge says the Trump administration cannot charge $100,000 fees on new H-1B visas. The court says the administration exceeded its authority by doing this. And it also says the administration violated the Administrative Procedures Act. Basically, that controls how federal agencies develop and issue regulations. The administration says the higher fees were meant to prevent foreign workers from taking American jobs. H-1B visas are typically for high-skilled jobs, which are difficult to find American workers to take. The Senate confirmation process for Todd Blanche to be the U.S. Attorney General will get underway. President Trump nominated Blanche to Attorney General, and now he will need to get a majority vote to get confirmed. He's been serving as acting AG since the president fired Pam Bondi. Blanche was previously the president's personal attorney.
Shoppers are wondering what the return of the screwworm could mean for their grocery bills. The USDA confirms at least 3 cases of the flesh-eating parasite in Texas cattle this week. Experts say that's unlikely to cause beef prices to rise right away. But if the screwworm cases turn into a full-blown outbreak, that's when shoppers could face steady price hikes. Beef prices are already at record highs right now because of smaller herds. The hunt for a black bear in Japan that lasted several days is now over. Crews captured the bear in a city near Tokyo. A veterinarian fired a tranquilizer at the bear but missed the first shot. And then about 15 minutes later, the vet fired a second and third shot. Meanwhile, another bear is still evading officials. That bear has been recorded chasing people. Attacks reached record levels last year in Japan with more than 200 victims and 13 deaths.
Yeah, that's the one animal you don't want to miss a shot in terms of tranquilizer. Well, heat and humidity are a way of life this time of year, but there are times when the two can get dangerous. Meteorologist Chris Michael shows us what it takes for heat advisories to be issued and why we might see one issued later this week.
Heat advisories, they're not uncommon around here. In fact, we average 8 to 9 heat advisories per year, and we average 1 to 2 extreme heat warnings. So what's the difference? It depends on where you live. And here in central North Carolina, the National Weather Service in Raleigh says they issue heat advisories when the heat index is between 104 and 109. Extreme heat warnings are issued when that heat index peaks above 110 degrees. Reason why we even use the heat index is because of how our bodies respond to the heat combined with humidity. Sweat is our body's way of cooling off through evaporation, so that happens more quickly when the air is dry, and it takes a longer time when the air is humid. So we look toward days like Friday, especially when our air temperature in the blue box is going to be in the mid to upper 90s, but our heat index could be anywhere between about 102 and 109. So it's that time of year when we emphasize if you've got to be outside the morning and the evening, best time to do any sort of exercise or any sort of chores out there, because the midday and the afternoon hours are going to be very hot. Also on Ask the Meteorologist on WRAL.com, we show you something called the wet bulb globe temperature, how that's different from the heat index, and why electrolytes are your friend when it gets this hot.
Another friend that you have, nature's umbrella, clouds. And that's what we have going on today. The sun not beating down on our head, but it's still pretty hot outside right now, Elizabeth.
It feels pretty good out there currently. We're looking at temperatures, starting to climb on up into the 80s, but the cloud cover and the wind coming out of the northeast and, of course, all that is going to help to keep things feeling pretty nice. It's 78 degrees right now, and the dew point is comfortable at 60. So it's not a bad day. This is going to be the most comfortable day that we see probably in the next 7 days, because we're back into some intense heat, especially for Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow will be a bit of a transition day. It's all thanks to this high pressure system. This high is starting to push away from us, though. It's going the wrong direction. We really want it to come this way, but that's not happening. But that high has so far been pushing in some nice, cool, dry air. But as it moves away from us, it's going to allow all the heat and humidity that's to our west to come back across the mountains, and we'll start to feel it as early as tomorrow. We do have a small chance for rain. It's likely to be right around the evening commute into around dinner time or so, but most of this is going to be in our southwestern counties. I wouldn't expect to see this in the Triangle. It's possible that we would see an isolated shower. I know that there are watch parties going on, as well as a lot of tailgating. I really think we're going to be fine, minus a sprinkle or two. 78 in Cary and Garner, 77 in Rollsville, 79 in Clayton. So it feels very comfortable outside right now. Our temperatures are anywhere from about 10 to almost 15 degrees cooler than they were this time yesterday. So our Canes game planner starting at 3 o'clock, probably going to be in the mid to upper 80s. By game time, our temperature will be close to 80 degrees. So feeling very comfortable. We do have that 20% chance on just right around dinner time, probably just before the game. But again, most of that's going to be Fayetteville, Clinton back over through the Sandhills. Then on Thursday, here comes the intense heat. We could be close to tying a record on Thursday, and then on Friday we'll probably break it with a high of 98 and the record, or a high of 99 with the record being 98. But look at the heat index that goes along with it. Thursday it could feel like 104 in the middle of the afternoon, and Friday 106. So there's a real chance that the National Weather Service will issue a heat advisory for us Thursday and probably Friday. You can see our heat risk for Thursday and Friday is major. And so you definitely want to be careful if you're planning to be out on Thursday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. But it does look like our northern counties on Thursday are looking at a level 1 risk. And I'm going to show you the map for that in just a few minutes. But Thursday for the Stanley Cup final, it will be here, of course, in Raleigh. What to watch for? Possibly a heat advisory, possibly some strong storms. Make sure you download the WRAL weather app to follow along with how things are shaping up on Thursday. Friday will be almost a repeat of that, but it is a little bit cooler over the weekend. We're back down to 91 on Monday, so it still stays pretty hot through the weekend.
All right, thanks for that breakdown for us, Elizabeth. So think before you tan. That's what doctors are saying, as there are rising melanoma rates in North Carolina, creating concerns about skin cancer. So, new at 5, why they are encouraging early screenings and warnings about dangerous tanning trends.
Plus, behind the game, a Durham company is helping to power the stats, graphics, and player tracking fans see during players and tracking fans what they see during NHL games. New at 6, how its technology is changing the game for coaches, broadcasters, and viewers. More Americans are worried about their finances. A survey by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York finds that roughly 48% felt somewhat or much worse off in May compared to last year. That's the highest level since July 2022. And the outlook for the coming year isn't any better. Those expecting their situations to be either much or somewhat worse totaled 36%, while those who see things improving total just 23%.
Well, Apple is expanding its child safety tools. The company showed off new features at its annual developers conference yesterday. And the goal is to give parents more control over when kids can use apps, what content they can access, and who they can communicate with. Apple already allows these parents to create special accounts for children, but those are required for those who are under the age of 13. Meanwhile, Amazon now lets you design custom merch using AI. The move is considered a direct challenge to sites such as Custom Ink, even Shopify. You can now create products using AI prompts through the Alexa feature in the shopping app. Your design can be shown on items ranging from apparel to tumblers through Amazon's print-on-demand service, which is free to use.
New limits on social media in school. A bill in the legislature is moving forward. Stick with us for a live update on the proposal.
And beat the heat. A startup is working on an energy-efficient coating that keeps buildings cool. We'll explain how this special paint provides relief.
And here's a look at the winning lottery numbers. We'll be right back.
Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
All right, so just hours ago, a state Senate committee approved new restrictions on social media use for some teenagers. And this moves forward a bill that could reshape what platforms your child is allowed to use.
WRAL state government reporter Caroline Yaffa joins us live with an update on this proposal. Caroline.
At the center of this debate is something every parent knows a little too well. It's what's going on inside the cell phone in your child's hand. So lawmakers are trying to crack down on algorithms that are in social media apps and platforms, they say, that you know about, that track what you're watching and know you just a little bit too well. So under this new proposal, they're trying to adjust the age limits. So if you're 13 or under, this bill would ban social media from use. Teens 14 and 15 would need a parent's permission just to create or keep an account. But this goes beyond phones and apps. The bill also impacts classrooms, requiring teachers to undergo training on artificial intelligence, how it works, and how it can be used in education. And today at the legislature, this bill has one big question that keeps coming up. It's how are they going to pay for this AI training? Now, lawmakers say they're looking at the next state budget to pay for that training, but there's no concrete details that have been set out on what that spending plan will look like. Caroline Yaffa, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Caroline, thank you. Happening today, Raleigh City Council will meet to discuss economic development initiatives happening across the city. This comes just one day after the city approved a $1.7 billion budget. This new budget includes a 1.7-cent property tax increase. Today's work session will be at 4 this afternoon. There will be a public comment session at City Hall that starts this evening at 7. Durham County Commissioners have approved their billion-dollar budget. It includes a 2.5-cent property tax increase and more than $239 million for Durham Public Schools. That's a more than $14.5 million increase from last year. It also includes a 2% cost of living raise for county employees.
Well, it's not every day that a utility company decides to lower your bills, but that's what's going on at Piedmont Natural Gas. You see, the company is decreasing rates for North Carolina customers. Residential customers will get bills that are about 4.35% lower than before, and that's around $54 per year. The company also lowered rates back in January, February, even April, which is around $100 in total for the year.
Intense temperatures can result in pricey energy bills as people look for ways to stay cool this summer. 2 former Arizona State University students are showcasing a product that they say reduces indoor temperatures, which could provide relief for your budget. Gary Baumgarten takes a closer look.
From floods to wildfires, hurricanes, and beyond, many structures across the country are prone to damage and destruction. And as some scientists keep warning about rising global temperatures, a lot of additional buildings are also under siege from extreme heat.
You need advanced materials that can protect you against extreme weather to enable us to live in a world which is increasingly becoming hotter.
But 2 former Arizona State University students who founded the company Encoat say their roof coating system outside is dramatic.
So there's this new gym that's opening this Friday in Minnesota, and essentially it uses AI to help people rethink their workouts. Derek James has a preview of what people there can expect.
20 minutes twice a week. That's the promise behind the Exercise Coach. The workouts are designed for all ages and fitness levels, but many clients are 40 and older, including this reporter.
So let me hit start.
The proprietary Exerbotic machines first measure your strength and range of motion.
The machine will then use that to create the workout for you, so that you are always spending the most time under tension and the right amount for you.
The goal is to keep muscles working continuously while the machine adjusts resistance and movement by staying within the lines of this graph.
That's reducing some of that wear and tear on the joints. That's creating a little bit of a safer experience, especially for somebody who's looking at some age-related muscle loss.
Owner Chris Geiser says the technology is what first caught his attention.
I love data, I love systems, and this had both of those, but also allowed us to help transform people's lives, have an impact on their health.
While the tech drives the workout, every session is still guided by a coach.
A little over halfway there.
The workout may be short, but it doesn't feel easy.
I know I'm making terrible faces.
Open.
The studio also incorporates balance and cognitive training to help clients maintain stability and coordination as they age.
We don't need to accept a casual decline in muscle mass. We can keep it up with the right level of intensity and the right frequency.
There you go.
For anyone who's fallen out of an exercise routine, Chris has a simple invitation.
You might be surprised what your body can still do, so we do invite you to give it a shot.
That one looks great.
That was Derek James reporting with that story. And we did a little checking and discovered there are facilities in Raleigh, Cary, Apex, and Durham, too.
It is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. But a new report reveals a majority of women don't know that they're at higher risk for developing Alzheimer's. After the break, a doctor offers guided advice to aid prevention. And going green for the cup, the FIFA World Cup, that is. How American stadiums used in the tournament will help meet sustainability efforts. June is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. A recent Cleveland Clinic report found a majority of women don't know they're at higher risk for developing Alzheimer's. There are two key aspects for brain health and dementia prevention. One is your medical care. So addressing things like elevated blood pressure. A lot of times women brush off high blood pressure as being stressed in the moment. Doctors say that needs to be taken seriously because it absolutely impacts our brain health down the road. Good quality sleep also plays a significant role.
A lot of women will put off sleep because there's so many other things to do. And I understand we're all busy, especially if you're raising children and you're working full time and then you want to just enjoy, watching television in the evening. But we have to stick to a schedule. That's how we train our bodies to sleep through the night and to stay on that sleep-wake cycle with the circadian rhythm.
Dr. Darling also says that mindfulness meditation or yoga before bedtime can also help you sleep.
Well, the media landscape, it is changing, and it is changing rapidly. North Carolina has 8 counties with no source of local news, none. WRAL documentary investigator Kristen Severance explores what this means for communities in a brand new documentary airing this week.
More than 1 in every 3 newspapers has vanished over the past 20 years.
Wall Street got involved in the ownership of news organizations, and that is what has created this problem.
The WRAL documentary unit set out to understand how the decline of newspapers and the rise of broadcast mega mergers has changed the media landscape and what it all means for communities.
We are all living through not just a generational change in media, but really a historic, once-in-a-century change.
You can watch Left Uncovered inside North Carolina's news deserts tomorrow at 7:30 on WRAL TV or wherever you stream WRAL.
Nearly all of the stadiums hosting World Cup games in the U.S. are going green ahead of matches. 13 of the 16 American stadiums have achieved LEED Green Building Certification status. LEED certified stadiums install more than 11,000 solar panels to generate clean electricity. They will also save more than 100 million gallons of water each year and eliminate more than 5 million single-use plastics every year. The first matches of the 2026 World Cup take place on Thursday, and the first game for the U.S. is on Friday, taking on Paraguay at 9 p.m. You can catch all the games on Fox 50. World Cup games run through July 19th. So we're caught up in Stanley Cup fever, and then soon it'll be World Cup fever. I mean, just a lot going on this week and next.
Yeah, very exciting. It's so cool that we have the World Cup games on Fox 50.
I know,
Yeah,
very exciting.
Really yes.
Yeah, cloudy skies out there, Elizabeth.
Yes, but exciting because it feels comfortable out there right now. We have a northeasterly flow. We got some cloud cover, keeping things cool, so you can see plenty of people out here.
Welcome back. A live look at the DBAP, and even the time in there looking a little dry. We certainly need some rain, and we have some small chances today and hopefully in a few days as well. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. The man charged with killing UNC student Faith Hedgepeth is due back in court this afternoon. Lawyers for Miguel Salguero Olivares will argue against prosecutors' requests to seal future motions in the case. Those arguments are expected to happen around 2:30 at the Durham County Courthouse. Salguero Olivares is charged in the 2012 death of UNC student Faith Hedgepeth. His trial is set for September 28th.
2 inmates who escaped the Vance County Jail have been found and rearrested. The SBI released photos overnight of Michael Miles and LaShawn Knott, and that was after their arrest in Asheville. You can see that moment here on your screen. The two had been on the run since they escaped from the Vance County Jail last week, and officers are still investigating what led up to all of this on your screen, them being able to escape. We are still trying to find out when they will be appearing in court.
We're counting down to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. Tonight, the Carolina Hurricanes will face off against the Golden Knights in Vegas. The watch party inside Lenovo Center is sold out. If the Canes win tonight, they will tie up the series before coming home to play at Lenovo Center for Game 5 on Thursday. You can count on WRAL for live team coverage all the way from Vegas to here at home.
So it looks like McDonald's is taking orders in a new way. The company is testing a new Google-powered AI system to take drive-thru orders, and that system is called IQ or Archie, and it's this new AI tech that'll help with orders in both English and Spanish while, quote, helping managers run a better restaurant. ArchieQ is currently at 5 McDonald's restaurants and has processed more than 1 million transactions.
I like that. McDonald's Arch, but Archie. Cute. One restaurant in Louisiana offered a deal to boost more than sales. The empanada guy invited bald and baldish customers to stop by for a special promotion. The goal was to create the city's largest gathering of bald people to celebrate confidence and community. Customers posed for photos, shared meals, and embraced the fun atmosphere.
I love that. It's
Bald
cool.
is beautiful.
Bald is beautiful. Great way to support a business, too.
Yes.
Well, our pet of the day is sweetness wrapped in a furry package. Peanut is a 5-year-old American foxhound, weighing in at 33 pounds. When she sees her favorite people or meets someone new, her little feet break into a little dance. Peanut is gentle, low energy, and walks beautifully on leashes without pulling. In doggy play groups, Peanut is a bit dainty and prefers quietly greets, of course, with friends over housing. If you're interested in learning more about her, you can reach out to the volunteer matchmakers at the email address right there at the bottom of your screen.
Behind the game, from player tracking to instant replays, a Durham company is helping to power the technology behind NHL broadcasts. Today at 4, how technology is changing what coaches, broadcasters, and fans can see. NBC News Daily is next on WRAL, your next local news update in 30 minutes.
And as always, you can get breaking news updates as well as your latest weather reports with the WRAL News app. Hope you have a blessed day today.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.